The fall of the Knights Templar is one of history's most dramatic and mysterious chapters, a story of ambition, betrayal, and greed that shattered one of the most powerful institutions of the medieval world. For nearly 2 centuries, the Templars had been revered as warrior monks, defenders of Christendom, and masters of an early banking system that made them indispensable to kings and nobles alike. How did this powerful medieval holy army vanish in a matter of days? The Knights Templar were established in 1119, born from the chaos of the Crusades. Their original mission was simple but noble: to protect Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. Over time, they grew into a military order of immense influence, combining martial prowess with deep religious devotion. They lived under strict vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, but their simplicity masked the extraordinary wealth and power they accumulated over the centuries. Donations from across Christendom filled their coffers, and their innovative banking system allowed travelers to deposit funds in one location and withdraw them elsewhere. By the 14th century, the Templars had become a force unto themselves, rivaling the authority of monarchs and even the Pope. This independence made them a target for King Philip IV, known as Philip the Fair. Philip's motives for targeting the Templars were obvious. His wars with England and Flanders had left him financially crippled, and he owed significant debts to the Knights Templar order. Their vast network of castles, farms, and treasuries was an irresistible prize for a king desperate for funds. But greed alone wasn't enough to justify the destruction of such a respected institution. Philip needed a pretext, a definitive reason to do what he was about to do. So he created false and damning accusations of heresy, idolatry, and blasphemy against the Templars. The charges were as shocking as they were baseless, claiming that the Templars worshipped a mysterious idol named Baphomet, spat on the cross during initiation rituals, and engaged in other acts that mocked the Christian faith. These accusations were designed to poison public opinion and ensure minimal resistance to Philip's campaign. The king's plan unfolded with ruthless precision. Weeks before the arrests, he sent sealed orders to his officials across France, instructing them to arrest all Templars simultaneously at dawn on October 13, 1307. The timing was critical. Philip wanted to catch the Templars completely off guard, with no chance to coordinate a defense or hide their treasures. When the sun rose that Friday morning, soldiers moved swiftly and without mercy. Templars were dragged from their beds, their chapter houses, and their fortresses. The suddenness of the arrests sent shockwaves through the order. In Paris, the headquarters of the Templars became a scene of chaos as soldiers stormed the compound, seizing records, weapons, and treasure. By the end of the day, hundreds of Templars were in chains, bewildered and terrified, accused of crimes they could barely comprehend. Behind the scenes, Philip relied on his loyal legal advisor, Guillaume de Nogaret, to orchestrate the campaign. Nogaret ensured that the charges against the Templars were widely publicized, spreading fear and outrage across France. Captured Templars were subjected to brutal torture to extract confessions. The methods were severe even by medieval standards, including the rack, starvation, and other forms of agony. Many knights confessed simply to escape the pain, but these admissions were later recanted when the victims were no longer under duress. Nevertheless, the forced confessions were paraded as proof of the Templars' guilt, lending legitimacy to Philip's actions. The fallout from that day was immediate and far-reaching. News of the arrests spread quickly, igniting shock and confusion across Europe. In other kingdoms, rulers hesitated to follow Philip's lead. Edward II of England initially resisted calls to arrest the Templars, finding the charges dubious. Similarly, many leaders within the Holy Roman Empire questioned the legitimacy of Philip's actions. However, Pope Clement V, under immense pressure from Philip, issued a papal bull ordering the arrest of Templars throughout Christendom. This expanded the operation far beyond France, giving it the appearance of a unified church-led initiative. The destruction of the Templars in France was total. Many knights languished in prisons, tortured and abandoned, while their leaders were paraded through sham trials. Jacques de Molay, the Grand Master of the Templars, endured years of imprisonment before being burned at the stake in 1314. As he died, de Molay is said to have maintained his innocence and cursed both Philip and Clement, predicting their deaths within the year. Strangely, both men died shortly after, adding a layer of mystique to the Templar saga. Yet Philip's campaign was not entirely successful. According to accounts, a fleet of Templar ships vanished from the port of La Rochelle around the time of the arrests, taking with them unknown treasures and records. Where these ships went remains a subject of speculation and legend. Some believe they fled to Scotland, where they found refuge under Robert the Bruce, who was excommunicated at the time and had little allegiance to the Pope. Others suggest they sailed to Portugal, where the Templars were rebranded as the Knights of Christ and allowed to continue their activities. Some even speculate they reached the New World centuries before Columbus. While these tales remain unproven, they have fueled centuries of conspiracy theories about hidden wealth and secret survival. The fall of the Knights Templar left a void in the medieval world. Once a symbol of Christian unity and strength, their destruction revealed the fragility of institutions when faced with greed and political ambition. Their demise also marked a turning point in the relationship between church and state, with monarchs asserting their dominance over religious orders. For an order that had once stood as the pride of Christendom, their sudden downfall was as shocking as it was swift. The Templars' story did not end with their destruction. Over the centuries, they became the stuff of legend. Some saw them as martyrs, unjustly persecuted by a corrupt king. Others believed they had discovered ancient secrets in the Holy Land, knowledge so dangerous that it threatened the Church itself. Theories about the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, and hidden treasures have swirled around the Templars for generations. While much of this is pure fantasy, it speaks to the enduring fascination with their story. Whether seen as saints, sinners, or something in between, the Templars left an indelible mark on history. The day of October 13, 1307, remains one of history's darkest and most dramatic turning points. It was a day of betrayal and greed, orchestrated by a king willing to destroy an entire order to secure his power. Yet the shock of that day echoed far beyond its immediate victims, leaving a legacy of mystery and intrigue. For the Templars, it was the beginning of the end. But for history, it was the start of a legend that refuses to fade, and only continues to grow, as the allure of their story secures itself as one of the legendary tales from the annals of the medieval Dark Ages. If you enjoyed our exploration of the fall of the Knights Templar, we know you'll love our other Rise of Humans episodes on your screen and on our channel page. And I invite you back for our next episode of the Rise of Humans.